major Texans news that can highly impact this Saturday's divisional matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. There's been a lot of headlines surrounding the Texans' offense and offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, and his name has been on the horizon lately. Welcome to Texans Digest. If you're new here, hit that sub button. We're posting Texans news all season long, but let's jump right into the news. Bobby Slowick has interviewed with the New York Jets. It's not the best situation, especially after Thursday's practice where he decides, hey, I'm going to go on an interview, and it's definitely it raises some red flags, right? He should be preparing for this game, and I understand the Texans just finished their walkthroughs, but you have to look at one game at a time. Remember last year when Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, he didn't interview with anyone until after the playoffs. Slowick has that opportunity here. The Jets requested an interview, and he decides after practice to already start thinking about the future and have an interview 2-3 days before a playoff matchup that is huge for the Texans. So I don't like the fact that he's already looking ahead at this. It's definitely not a good sign, and it's expected. I 100% expect Slowick to get interviewed for he was a hot name last year. Stroud had a great rookie year. He interviewed with 5 teams: Commanders, Falcons, Seahawks, Panthers, and Titans. But this interferes with the game Saturday so much because it not only does it distract him and it's like, okay, I'm thinking about the Jets, you're also affecting your team around you. You don't think that anyone hears this news on the Texans and they're like, wait, why is my offensive coordinator thinking of going somewhere else when we have a game to play this Saturday? It's not like the Texans got eliminated. It wasn't like it was even before the wild card game. No, let's do it in the middle of the playoffs. Hey, let me just interview with the Jets. That's not good. And Slowick has not had a good enough reputation to where he deserves a crazy amount of interviews. I show this because it's funny. It was a joke on X, but this is Bobby Slowick's entire playbook. He has not had a very successful repertoire in terms of his reputation. He's had the 20th ranked offense in the league, 15th ranked rush defense or rush offense. So it's okay, right? He's a little bit of a conservative play caller. I talked about it in a past video where Slowick loves to run the ball. And I'm all for running the ball. But when you run the ball on first and second down and it puts your offense in third and long situations, CJ Stroud might be better off without Slowick. So as much as I am pushing the needle to the fact that this is not a good idea, this is not okay to let your offensive coordinator just interview in the midst of the playoffs. Let's worry about that after the playoffs. Let's try and win a Super Bowl first. No, let's go interview with the Jets. Why? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. So, Slowick, head coaching job with the Jets, his first interview of the season. So, it's definitely frustrating to see this because I already have a weird feeling that the Texans are going to lose this game versus the Chiefs. They could easily get blown out because Slowick is not in the right mindset. He's worried about interviews and his future, and we're going to get to it right now. So the whole talking about this in the media, DeMeco Ryans did give him some advice on how to look for coaching, and I don't agree with interviewing while you're in the playoffs. I think it's dumb. I think you should focus on the playoffs. I don't care if the only logical reason to get an interview is to the week of the Pro Bowl. When you have a week off, I think that's the time, okay, we don't have anything to do until Super Bowl, let me interview then. That's when I've seen the most coaches interview, and it makes the most sense because you have that week off. But let's talk about DeMeco Ryans and what he had to say to Bobby Slowick. So DeMeco said, my advice for Bobby is to be selective. You get one opportunity to do it. Go to a place where you can feel like you can be effective and efficient. So love the wisdom, words of wisdom. This is again a head coach, DeMeco Ryans, second year in the league, second playoff appearance as a head coach. So that's incredible. Former linebacker for the Texans, was a great player for us, rookie of the year. Didn't play long, but again, former player for the Texans, so it's a great situation. The question I have for everyone else is, do you move on from Bobby Slowick? Hypothetically, let's say that the Texans lose this game, or even if they beat the Chiefs, they lose in the championship round. Whatever happens, happens. But then they don't win a Super Bowl. But let's say the Texans move on from Bobby Slowick. Who do you go get is the biggest question. So there's a lot of skepticism as to if he should say. I know he's got a lot of pushback this year. I am not a Bobby Slowick lover. I'm not going to knock him for his difficult season. Everyone goes through growing pains. Things happen. But do you get rid of him? This is where you have to think. The Chiefs game, if you lose that, if you get absolutely stepped on, because the defense is what showed out in the Charger game. The biggest problem is if the offense has a goose egg or it does bad again, like you saw against the Ravens on Christmas, and we already know the Ravens don't have a very good pass defense, and you're already running the ball against a stacked top front seven. Ravens can stop the run, and you're going to Slowick ran it way too often. That game was a disaster. But if you have another game like that against the Chiefs in a playoff game, one, his head coaching value is going to go out the window. Two, do you just move on from him entirely? That's the question. Second year as the offensive coordinator for the Texans. Slowick, he had a great rookie year. But he has to, honestly learn how to push the ball down the field more. Because I think C.J. Stroud has done a much better job on pass-first situations rather than run-first. The Texans have been bottom 5 in first and second down efficiency in terms of getting first downs. They're one of the worst teams on third and long. Third and an average 8 of down and distance. So as much as Joe Mixon has been incredible this season, last year, a reason the team was so successful was because the run game didn't work. They ran the ball so many times with Dameon Pierce that he averaged under 3 yards a carry. You can't run the ball efficiently when you don't have a good run game. Now you have a good run game, and you're relying on it like it's the end of your life if it's not going to work. So definitely annoying to deal with. Hey, let's run. Maybe one of those times it'll work. But that's not how you got to look at it. Mixon, hey, run it on first down. Okay, let's try a little bootleg. Get it to Stover, who's also on IR, which hurts the team a lot. But try and change it up. I tried to talk about this in a former video, but it's just like the amount of scrutiny. It's like sometimes watching this team, especially in the first half of the Chargers game, you get so frustrated watching this team and watching this offense. It looks like Stroud doesn't know what he's doing. He threw the ball to 3 Chargers. When he threw the pick, he threw he should have thrown, honestly, with counting the interception that he threw, he should have thrown 3 interceptions. The one interception he threw to Dalton Schultz, that one got called back. The other one that was kind of dropped, but he kind of underthrew it to DeMeco. But again, all these are third and long situations where you're trying to put the ball in a good situation for your wide receiver or your tight end, and it's all jump ball situations. There's never anyone actually open on these third and longs. And some of the times there are decent play calls run. They just take forever to get developed. And when you have a forever developing play with an offensive line who's been lackluster, to say the least, allowing 52 sacks, second most in the league, you can't have a recipe for success when you have these long developing plays and you run the ball on first and second down, putting your team in a hole. And not to mention that the penalties. Laremy Tunsil has probably one of the most penalties in the league in terms of his offensive tackle. He has double-digit penalties, close to 20. That cannot happen. For an all-pro tackle who false starts, holds, that is a problem. And then Titus Howard has moved inside to left guard because Shaq Mason's still hurt. So a bunch of problems with the offensive line, a bunch of problems with the play calling all season. And this just puts the cherry on top for me. Slowick interviews with the Jets after practice Thursday when you have a game Saturday. What are you doing? That is not good. Because the offense has been already bad this year, and you're already going to look other ways before you're even out of the playoffs yet. This is a huge problem. So this scares me, and this actually makes me think, we're going to do a preview tomorrow, but this makes me think more that the Texans actually might blow up in the divisional round. They might get stepped on by the Chiefs, and it's not a matter of the bad offensive play. The defense might keep them in it, but the bad offense has been inconsistent all season. The defense last week made up for the lack of offense. The offense has been probably one of its best strengths in terms of last week's game. But that was a product of the defense, making the offense look very great. In reality, they had 2 fumbles, a pick. Stroud threw multiple passes to the wrong team, but it was deflected, and one got called back. So a lot to take in for me to see this news. Slowick's like, yeah, I'll entertain an interview with the Jets when I'm supposed to be preparing for a playoff game in 2 days, which I just don't understand. But that's all the time we're going to have to end it there because I will go on a 30-minute rant if I have to about why this offense has been so bad this year. So sophomore slump definitely inbound. Slowick is still getting attention for head coaching jobs. The Jets interviewed him. Who knows if they actually hire him, but let me know, one, if you think this is a bad thing, and two, if Slowick will remain with the team. It's going to be a crazy offseason. I'm not expecting this game to go. I'm very not confident in this game. But I'm going to have to break it down tomorrow. So thank you everyone so much for watching. Leave a comment down below and hit that sub button if you're new. We'll catch you in the next video for the Chiefs preview. Peace.